Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Biswajit Nayak, working as operational manager at Threatsys. First of all, thank you guys having us here. Today, I'll walk you through the topic cybersecurity threats and introduction to SOC and SIEM. Now, I would like to briefly tell you about who we are. Threatsys Technologies is a certain associated and ISO 27001 certified cybersecurity company with over 12 years of experience. We provide end-to-end cybersecurity services including VIPT, security assessments, compliance, and managed SOC solutions. We work with clients across various industries, helping organizations to identify threats, protect their critical assets, and respond effectively to cyber risk. Before we begin the presentation, let's have a quick overview of this topic. In this presentation, we will first understand the current cybersecurity problem faced by organizations and why cyber attacks are becoming more frequent and complex. Then we will discuss the major challenges such as data breaches, ransomware, unauthorized access, phishing, insider threats, and compliance requirements. After understanding the problem, we will move towards the solutions. Mainly Security Operations Center or SOC and Security Information and Event Management or SIEM. We will understand what SOC and SIEM are, how they work together, their benefits, major components, and the types of threats they can help detect and respond to. Finally, we will discuss some recommendations for implementing SOC and SIEM effectively. So, let us first understand why organizations need stronger cybersecurity operation today. First, understand the problem before we are going to the solutions. Cybersecurity challenge. Before discussing the solutions, it is important to understand the problem. Today, organizations are facing cybersecurity challenges from attacks. Cyber attacks are no longer occasional events. Attackers can scan, exploit, and attack systems much faster than before. The slide mentioned that the attack cycle can decrease from months to days or even hours. This means organizations have much less time to identify and respond to any attacks. The second challenge is high cost. A successful cyber attack can result in financial loss, recovery costs, legal expenses, and business disruption, and also lack of trust for users. The third challenge is brand and reputation damage. When customer information is exposed, customers may lose their trust in the organizations. Another major issue is the increasing complexity of IT environments. Organizations may have cloud systems, legacy applications, different operating systems, network devices, vendors, and technologies. At the same time, organizations are generating huge amounts of security data, potentially reaching its petabytes. You know how this bigger is? Now imagine a security analyst manually checking all these logs. It would be extremely difficult. This creates another problem, the SOC staffing problem. Organizations need skilled security professional to monitor these environments continuously. So overall, we have three major categories of challenge. Now, what we will discuss: security challenge that evolving the target cyber threats, operational challenges that complex environments, skill gaps, and alert fatigue, and finally business impact, downtime of financial losses, and damage to reputations. This is why organizations need a structured and centralized approach to security monitoring. What is the problem? The real world cybersecurity incident we are seeing here. This slide provides an example of major organizations that have experienced significant cybersecurity incidents. You can see names such as Equifax, Marriott International, Facebook, Capital One, Microsoft, T-Mobile, and LinkedIn. The purpose of these examples is to show the cybersecurity incidents are not limited to small organizations. Even large organizations with significant technology investments can experience data breaches or security incidents. For example, when a large organization suffers a data breach, the impact may go beyond the technical problem. There can be customer data exposure, financial losses, legal consequences, regulatory actions, operational disruptions, and reputational damage as well. The important lesson here is that cybersecurity is not only an IT problem, it is also a business risk. This is why organizations need continuous monitoring and faster detection rather than waiting until an incident becomes visible. Challenges facing by organization. This is most important. Now let's take a look about the major challenges organizations face. First is data breaches and information theft. This means attackers can gain unauthorized access to sensitive information such as customer records, employee information, financial information, or business data. The second challenge is ransomware and malware data. This is so dangerous. Ransomware is malicious software that can encrypt an organization files and demand payments for that. For example, imagine a hospital where important systems become unavailable because ransomware has encrypted critical files. This can affect normal operations and potentially impact the patients. The third challenge is unauthorized access. Attackers may use stolen credentials, weak password, or software vulnerabilities to access systems they should not be able to access. The fourth challenge is phishing and social engineering. This is more trickier. Here, attackers target people rather than directly attacking technologies. For example, an employee may receive an email that appears to come from the IT department asking them to verify their password. If the employee enters the credential on fake website, the attacker can use them. The fifth challenge is compliance and regulatory requirements. Organizations need to protect sensitive information and maintain appropriate security controls according to applicable regulation and standards. Finally, we have insider threats. An insider threat can be intentional or accidental. For example, an employee may accidentally send confidential information to the wrong person, or a malicious employee may intentionally access sensitive data. These challenges demonstrate why continuous security monitoring is important. Solution. Now that we understand the problem, let's move towards the solutions. Organization need a structure, security operation that continuously monitor their environment, identify suspicious activity, investigate incident and respond quickly. This is where SOC and SIEM become important. First, SOC stands for Security Operations Center. A SOC is centralized security function responsible for continuously monitoring an organization IT environment. The SOC monitors systems, investigates suspicious activity, identifies threats, and coordinates incident response. The main objective is to provide continuous visibility, threat detection, investigation, and rapid response. The first is threat detection and response. Identify threats and taking action against them. The second is centralized security operations, bringing security monitoring and incident management together. The third is cost-effective security, organization that cannot maintain a large 24 hours 24/7 internal SOC can use managed or co-managed security services. And finally, business aligned security means security activities should support business objectives and compliance requirements. Security Operations Center. To understand the SOC more clearly, think of it as a security control room for an organization. Just like an airport control center monitors flights and respond to unusual situations. A SOC monitors an organization digital environments. A SOC continuously monitor things such as network traffic, servers, endpoints, applications, user authentication, cloud environments, or security alerts. When something suspicious happens, the SOC analyst investigate it. For example, suppose an employee normally logs in from India during working hours. Suddenly, the same account logs in from another country and start downloading a large amount of sensitive information. Individually, these events may not immediately prove an attack, but the SOC can investigate the sequence and determine whether the account has been compromised. So the main responsibility of SOC are monitoring, detection, investigation, and response. Why does an organization need SOC? The main reason is that cybersecurity threat can occur 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. An organization cannot depend only on occasional security checks. A SOC provides continuous monitoring. For example, an attacker may attempt a brute force attack at 2 a.m., morning 2 a.m., when most employees are not working at that time. If there is no monitoring during that period, the attacker may continue for hours. With a SOC, security alerts can monitor continuously and suspicious activity can be investigated much faster. A SOC also helps organizations bring together security monitoring, incident response, threat intelligence, and security analysis. Therefore, the purpose of SOC is not simply to generate alerts. Its purpose is to identify meaningfully threats and take appropriate actions before they cause significant damage. Benefits of having SOC. There are several important benefits of having SOC. The first is real-time monitoring and alerting. Security teams can identify suspicious activity quickly rather than discovering it after significant damage has occurred. The second benefit is proactive security. The SOC can use threat intelligence and security monitoring to identify potential threat early. The third benefit is compliance. Organization may need to demonstrate that security events are being monitored and properly managed. The fourth is incident management and response. When an incident occurs, the SOC provides a structured process for investigation and response. Another benefit is better visibility. Instead of looking at individual systems separately, security teams can develop a broader view of the organization's security posture. Finally, having a SOC can help build customer trust. Customers wants to know that their information is being protected. So overall, the SOC helps move an organization from a reactive security approach towards a more continuous and proactive approach. What SIEM and SIEM processes? Now let's move the second major concept, SIEM. SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. In simple terms, SIEM is security platform that collects security logs and events from different systems and analyze them to identify suspicious activities. Think about a large organization. There may be logs coming from firewalls, servers, applications, endpoints, cloud platforms, authentication systems, and network devices. If each system is monitored separately, it becomes difficult to understand the complete picture. SIM brings these events to centralized platform. The SIM process shown here can be understood in 6 steps. The SIM collects logs and events from multiple sources. It connects related events together. Analyze it, examines the events for suspicious pattern, detect it, identifies potential threats and anomalies, alert, it notifies security team when a defined suspicious condition is detected, respond, the SOC investigates the alert and takes appropriate action. For example, imagine there are 20 failed login attempts, followed by a successful login, followed by access to sensitive data. SIEM can correlate these events and generates an alert. The SOC analyst can then investigate whether this represents a compromised account or not. Importance of SIEM for IT security. Now, let's understand why SIEM is important for IT security. The first benefit is detecting and responding to threats. SIEM provides centralized monitoring and helps security teams identify suspicious activity. And second is compliance. The organization may need to maintain logs and demonstrate security monitoring for standards and regulations such as PCI DSS, HIPAA, or GDPR depending on their requirements. The third benefit is centralized log management. Instead of checking every system individually, security teams can analyze logs from multiple sources in one platform. The fourth is threat intelligence. SIM can use threat intelligence information to provide additional context about suspicious indicators. The fifth is incident response. When an alert is generated, analysts can use the available event information to investigate what happened. Finally, SIM can be cost effective because it reduces the needs for analysts to manually review huge amount of logs. So, SIM help convert large volume of raw security data into information that security teams can actually use. SIM components and architecture. We should need to understand this. This slide explains the major components of SIM architecture. The first component is log collections. This is where the SIM receives logs from different sources such as networks, systems, applications, and security devices. The second is event correlation and normalization. Different systems may generate logs in different formats. Normalization converts them into a common structure, while correlation connects related events. The third component is alerting. The SIM uses predefined rules, thresholds, or detection logic to generate alerts. For example, if there are many failed login attempts from one source within a short period, the SIM may generate a full brute force alert. The fourth component is dashboard and reporting. Security analysts can use dashboard to visualize alerts, events, trends, and security activity. The final component is investigation and forensic. Analysts can review historical event to understand what happened before, during, and after a security incident. So overall architecture, this is explained. Benefits of implementing SOC and SIM. This is more clearly understood by organizations that should be implemented. When SOC and SIM are implemented together, organization can achieve several important benefits. The first is improved threat detection and response times. Security teams can identify suspicious activity more quickly. The second is reduce risks of data breaches. Early detection can give the organization an opportunity to contain an incident before it becomes more serious. The third is efficient incident and event management. Instead of handling security events in an unstructured way, organization can use centralized monitoring and response process. The fourth benefit is cost saving. Automation can reduce the amount of manual work required for a repetitive security monitoring task. The fifth is improved visibility and control. Security team can get a broader understanding of what is happening across the environment. Finally, enhanced threat intelligence can help organizations understand emerging threats and improve detections. These key points is that SOC and SIM are not just about collecting logs, they are about turning security data into actionable information and improving the organization overall security response. Examples of threat detected and responded to using SOC and SIM. Now let's look at some practical examples of threats that SOC and SIM solution can help detect and respond to. The first example is malware infection. Suppose an employee accidentally downloads a malicious file. The endpoint may generate a security event, and the SIM can correlate that event with other suspicious activity. The SOC can then investigate and take appropriate action. The second example is brute force attack. Suppose an attacker repeatedly attempts different passwords against an account. A large number of failed authentication events within a short period can trigger an alert. The third example is Phishing email campaign. If several employees receive suspicious emails or click on malicious links, security systems can generate related events that help the SOC identify the campaign. The fourth example is Advanced Persistent Threat or APT. An APT is prolonged and target attack where the attacker may remain inside an environment for an extended period. This is particularly challenging because the attacker may try to stay hidden. By correlating events across different systems, SOC and SIEM capabilities can help identify unusual patterns. These examples show why centralized monitoring is important. Improve compliance and risk management. Cybersecurity is not only about detecting attackers, organizations also need to manage risk, compliance, accountability, and incident response processes. The first area is compliance monitoring and reporting. SOC and SIM can help organizations collect relevant security information and generate reports required by application standard or regulations. The second area is risk assessment management. Organizations can analyze security events and identify areas where their security controls may need improvement. The third area is incident response, planning and execution. An organization should not wait until an attack happens to decide what to do. It should have a predefined incident response process. For example, if an account is compromised, the response may involve disabling the account, investigating activity, checking affected system, and determining whether data was accessed. The fourth area is auditing and accountability. Logs can help organizations understand who performed an action, when it happens, and what systems were involved. This provides valuable information during investigations. Therefore, SOC and SIM supports not only security operations but also broader risk management and governance. Recommendation for implementing SOC and SIM solutions. Finally, to conclude the presentation, let's discuss some recommendations for implementing SOC and SIM solution. First, an organization should understand its specific security requirements. There is no single SOC or SIM approach that is suitable for every organization. Second, organizations should identify the important system and log sources that need to be monitored. Third, they should define appropriate detection rules and alert priorities. Not every alert represents a suspicious or serious incident, so organizations need to reduce unnecessary alerts and focus analysts on meaningful threats. Fourth, organizations should establish a clear incident response process. When a serious alert occurs, everyone should know who is responsible for investigation, containment, communication, and recovery. Fifth, organizations should ensure that they have skilled security personnel or work with experienced security partner when required. Finally, SOC and SIM implementation should be treated as an ongoing process. Threat change, infrastructure change, and detection requirement change. Here, it is not just about monitoring and generating alerts. We can go beyond that with AI driven security. AI can help us understand the alerts, analyze the threats, and identify what is actually happening. It can also support the investigation process and help security teams take action faster. In this context, AI SOC 360 brings these capabilities together to make security operations smarter and more efficient. So the focus is not only on detecting threats but also on understanding and responding to them. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. I hope this presentation provide a clear understanding of cybersecurity challenges organizations face and how SOC and SIM can help address them. I am happy to take any question from you guys. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your presence. I can see these questions have been asked from you. Thank you, Chiranjeev. The first question from Chiranjeev. Can SIEM detects a phishing attack? Yes, it is happen. SIM can correlate email user and network events to identify suspicious phishing related activities. And thank you guys for asking the question. The second question is how does SOC help during a cyber attack? Yes, the SOC detects the incident and investigates it and coordinates the response to reduce its impact and downtime. The third question asking by Pragya. Thank you, Pragya. The third question is SOC useful for small organization too? Yes, organization can use co-managed or managed SOC services when maintaining a dedicated 24-hour into 7 SOC team is difficult or expensive as well. And the fourth question asking from Binay. Thank you, Binay. How does SIM help a SOC team? SIM collects and analyzes logs from different sources, helping the SOC detect suspicious activities faster. Thank you guys for having this session with us.